My 5-year-old daughter came home from school, knelt in front of me, and begged me not to send her back to kindergarten, saying she didn't want to go anymore. I asked her why, but she just cried and shook her head, too scared to speak. Sensing something was wrong, I lifted her shirt, and found her arms and body covered in tiny puncture marks. Shaking with anger, I snapped a photo and posted it in the kindergarten parents chat group, demanding, "Who did this?" Someone named Luna arrogantly replied, "I told my son to do it." She then sent 2 more pictures. One was a wedding photo of her and my husband. The other was a picture of me, my daughter, and my husband. "You homewrecker. You dared steal my husband and have an illegitimate child. It's a miracle I didn't have my son beat that brat to death." The parent group exploded, filled with insults directed at me and my daughter. Even the teacher tagged Luna, saying, "Mason did well today. I'll make sure to give him a gold star tomorrow." Luna sent a smug emoji and taunted me directly, "If you're mad about it, come find me. My son and I are still at the kindergarten." On the way to the kindergarten with my daughter, I sent my company's legal team a message, "Prepare a divorce agreement for the prenup. I want David out with nothing. Also, my daughter was assaulted at the kindergarten. Bring a team over immediately. I want them to pay dearly. How dare a freeloader like David keep a mistress and a child on the side." When I arrived at the kindergarten with my daughter, the first person I saw was Luna standing outside. She was surrounded by other parents from the class. "Luna, you're so low-key. If it weren't for all this, we wouldn't have known your husband is the CEO of Martin Group." "Exactly. No wonder I thought you had such a refined aura the moment I saw you. It's that high-class grace that comes with wealth. We're all here to support you today. We're proper mothers and we can't let a low-class homewrecker push you around." Right. What good could come from a homewrecker's daughter? Mason is truly the heir of Martin Group. He is already standing up for the people at such a young age. Even the teacher humbled herself, fawning over Luna. "Luna, let me know Mason's favorite foods, and we'll adjust the kindergarten menu to suit his taste from now on." Luna basked in the praise. David had freeloaded off my family for years, doing nothing. To give him some responsibility, I handed him control of the smallest branch of Martin Group. I never expected this would become Luna's source of pride and admiration. As soon as they saw me, the parents who had been flattering her just moments ago immediately frowned, looking at me with disgust. It was as if I were something filthy and repulsive. The teacher walked up to me, her face cold, and said, "Ms. Walker, I've been instructed by the principal to inform you that Emily is expelled, effective immediately." I glared at her and asked coldly, "My daughter was attacked. Instead of seeking justice for her, you're expelling her." The teacher responded indifferently, "This is an elite kindergarten. The children who come here all come from wealthy or noble families. A child born from a homewrecker like you staying here would only damage our reputation." My expression darkened as I warned her coldly, "I suggest you investigate who the real homewrecker and illegitimate child are before speaking." Just as finished speaking, Luna stormed over to me. She slapped me hard across the face. "How dare a filthy homewrecker like you flaunt yourself in front of me? Did you really think having a bastard child would let you take my place as Mrs. Jones?" The sudden slap left me stunned. The other parents began mocking me, pointing fingers. "You look decent, so why stoop to being a mistress and having a child?" Some people pretend to be innocent. The moment they see a rich man, they go wild, desperate to spread their legs. Mistresses are the shame of all women, and their kids are even worse. The insults and accusations attracted more bystanders, who started pointing at me. Some even took out their phones to take pictures and videos and spat at me. I took off my $1 million coat and tossed it into the trash. Then I turned to face Luna directly. "First, you told your son to bully my daughter, and now you're hitting me in public. Who gave you the audacity to act so lawlessly?" Luna arrogantly replied, "It's only right for a wife to slap a mistress. Besides, I'm the wife of the Martin Group's CEO. Beating you and your filthy daughter is nothing. I could even take your lives and it wouldn't matter." The other parents chimed in, "If you hadn't been a mistress, Luna wouldn't have hit you. You brought this on yourself. You're just a filthy mistress. Instead of keeping your head down, you're out here provoking us. Getting slapped is the least of what you deserve. Yeah, you've got a taste for being a tramp, huh? Who are you pretending to be the innocent victim for? We're not like those men blinded by lust." Even the bystanders joined in on the insults. Each insult was more vicious than the last. This only emboldened Luna. She glared at my car behind me, eyes blazing with anger. "You filthy woman, spending my husband's money like it's nothing. How dare you drive a Rolls Royce? A cheap mistress like you doesn't deserve this car. I hate mistresses more than anything. Every mistress on earth should die." As she spoke, she pulled out a key and scratched large letters across my car's surface. "Mistresses must die." I glanced at the glaring words and said coldly, "You'll soon realize how ironic those words are." Hearing this, Luna flew into a rage. "You filthy woman, living off my husband's money and acting all high and mighty. Today, I'll make sure you pay back every penny you've taken from him. She picked up a brick from the sidewalk and started smashing my car with all her strength. She didn't spare anything. The windows, headlights, and the hood. Everything was attacked. Seeing this, the other parents were energized. They picked up whatever they could find and joined in on the rampage, smashing my car with enthusiasm. After breaking the windows, they climbed inside, slashing at the seats and tearing apart the interior. The once pristine luxury car was quickly reduced to a heap of scrap metal. At that moment, one of the women broke open the trunk and gasped, "Look, there's a bunch of expensive stuff hidden in here." Luna approached, casually pulling out a painting, sneering, "A woman who makes her living selling herself is collecting art, trying to act all cultured. It's an insult for trash like you to own something like this. Someone like you only deserves trash." With that, she tore the painting to shreds right in front of me. After ripping it apart, she threw it to the ground and stomped on it. One of the bystanders, who seemed knowledgeable about art, took a closer look and exclaimed, "This looks like an authentic piece by James. I heard it starts at 300 million at auction." Luna proudly said, "So what if it's worth 300 million? It's all my husband's money anyway. My husband's money is my money. If I want to destroy my own stuff, what's the problem?" Her words left me speechless with anger. Let's not even mention that David was a penniless live-in husband. Even when I let him manage Martin Group, he lost nearly half of the company's value due to his incompetence. If he weren't my husband, I would have fired him long ago. But Luna and these other parents actually see him as some impressive CEO. Every single one of them looks up to him with admiration. Led by Luna, the other parents followed suit, tearing up my paintings. They all started ripping and smashing the collectibles I had in my trunk. I bought these items at a high price from an auction today. Before I could even place them, they were destroyed. Watching these out-of-control lunatics, I calmly pulled out my phone. "Why aren't you here yet? You need to be in front of me within 5 minutes." Before I even got a response, one of the parents snatched my phone and smashed it to the ground, trying to call for help. "Where do you get the nerve? Are you pretending to be someone important, huh? She's probably calling one of her clients to put on a show for us. Ha ha ha." The parents laughed even louder, openly mocking me. I stared at my shattered phone on the ground and said coldly, "I hope you'll still be laughing this hard in a few minutes." Then I turned to the teacher and asked, "You knew my daughter was being bullied at school, didn't he?" "You?" The teacher glared at me with disdain. "So what if I did? A bastard daughter of a worthless mistress is nothing but trash. Mason was just taking out the trash. What's the issue?" Hearing this, the parents present started clapping and cheering. "That's why you're the teacher. You handle things so fairly and directly." "Exactly, this is an elite school. Not just anyone can come here. Why does a mistress daughter need an education? You should just teach her how to seduce men like you did. Who knows, maybe she'll be even better at it and land a richer guy." Luna got even bolder. "See that? This is what happens when you're a mistress. You and your daughter are destined to live at the bottom of society, hated by everyone." The scene was filled with insults directed at me, and the bystanders joined in with their jeers. The more they cursed at me, the wider Luna smiled. The teacher seized the moment to flatter Luna. "Mrs. Jones," the principal said, "if the situation is resolved to your satisfaction, he hopes you can do us a favor. You know we're planning to expand the school, and all the land around here belongs to Martin Group. What do you think?" Crossing her arms, Luna arrogantly replied, "Don't worry, I'm very pleased with how you handled things today. When the time comes, I'll just say the word, and my husband will give you all the land you need." The teacher couldn't stop smiling. "Thank you in advance, Mrs. Jones. Luna, my husband has worked with Martin Group before. Could you keep us in mind for future deals? My company's looking to switch industries too. I'd love to have the chance to work with Martin Group in the future. Luna, here's a no-limit shopping card from my mall. I hope we can stay close." In an instant, the parents scrambled to curry favor with Luna, each trying harder than the next to flatter her. Some even went so far as to slip their bank cards into her bag. Luna reveled in the attention, radiating arrogance. She raised her chin, strutted over me, and smugly said, "See that? This is the power of money and influence. Someone like you, a nobody mistress, will spend your whole life spreading your legs, hoping for scraps from men. But me? I get to enjoy the kind of glory you'll never even dream of reaching. I'll give you one day. Take your bastard daughter and get out of this city. If I see you messing with my husband again, I'll bury that little brat of yours alive." Hearing this, my daughter trembled and clung to me. "Mom, I'm scared. My foot, it hurts so much." Her voice was filled with terror and pain. I removed her little boot and saw one of her toes was missing. The wound was horrifying. There was even blood pooled inside her shoe. My heart felt like it had been stabbed. My eyes filled with tears that wouldn't stop falling. I couldn't fathom how my delicate, pain-averse daughter had endured so much without saying a word until now. I glared furiously at Luna. Did your son do this too? Luna glanced at me, her tone indifferent. Why the fuss? You should be glad I didn't have my son take that brat's life. Before she could finish, I slapped her hard across the face. That slap carried all of my rage, every ounce of strength I had. It sent Luna stumbling backward. As I moved to hit her again, another parent suddenly grabbed my hair. The other parents swarmed at me, punching and kicking. You filthy wench! How dare you lay a hand on Mrs. Jones? Are you tired of living? Yeah, your brat isn't even dead yet. Why rush to join her? Your kid's lucky Mason taught her a lesson. With trash like you for a mom, she deserves whatever she gets, even if it's death. Even the teacher, full of indignation, kicked me. Stop hitting my mom. My daughter cried, trying to intervene, but a chubby boy kicked her to the ground. The teacher patted the boy's head and praised him with a smile. Mason, you've always known how to punish wrongdoers. You're such a good kid. Tomorrow, I'll make sure to praise you in front of the whole school and give you an award. Mason squinted with a smug grin. Humph, it's what I'm supposed to do. I'll beat that brat every time I see her. I was lying on the ground, trembling with rage as I gritted my teeth. You'll regret this. Hearing this, they burst into laughter as if I had told the funniest joke in the world. Did I hear that right? A lowly mistress has the nerve to make threats. Hilarious. This wench actually thinks she's someone important. Mrs. Jones is the CEO's wife. Squashing her is as easy as crushing an ant. This worthless tramp can't do anything, so she's just throwing a tantrum. Ha ha ha. What a disgrace. If I were her, I'd have already offed myself. The parents held me down, relentlessly mocking and humiliating me. The bystanders weren't any better, spitting at me and hurling insults. Basking in their support, Luna drove her sharp, high heel into my face. Ha ha ha. Regret? I've never regretted anything in my life. I'd love to see how someone like make me regret a thing. Just as she finished, a line of luxury cars sped up and stopped at the school gates. One after another, men in suits quickly stepped out of the cars. The sudden commotion caught everyone's attention. The noisy crowd fell into an eerie silence. The parents who had been holding me down immediately let go, straightened up, and turned there toward the scene. Luna withdrew her foot, her gaze fixed on the convoy of luxury cars. I quickly stood up and helped my daughter off the ground. Under everyone's watchful eyes, a man in a suit walked to the lead car and respectfully opened the door. Eyes. Out stepped David, dressed in a tailored suit, exuding a charisma that instantly drew the attention of the crowd. His handsome appearance and distinguished aura caught everyone's eye. Isn't that Mr. Jones? Yes, it's him. Wow, even his entrance is so grand. And he's so handsome too. No wonder that shameless woman was trying so hard to cozy up to him. As the envious murmurs grew louder, Luna proudly approached David, linking her arm through his. Honey, what are you doing here? She asked, smiling sweetly. David gave her a loving smile and replied, didn't you mention you had a little run-in at the preschool? Of course, I came to back you and our son up. Luna batted her eyes at him, clearly enjoying the attention. Really? So no matter who messes with me, you'll always be on my side. David didn't hesitate. Of course. You and our son are my treasures. Anyone who dares to hurt you will have to deal with me. Seeing that David was fully prepared to stand up for her, Luna beamed with pride. The other parents were green with envy. I've always heard that Mr. Jones spoils his wife. Now, it's clear he really does. Look at them. A perfect couple if I've ever seen one. Exactly. I don't understand how some people have the nerve to try to wreck their marriage. And she dared to mess with Mrs. Jones. She's way out of her league. Mr. Jones is about to handle this. Let's see how that homewrecker holds up now. Amid the gossiping crowd, Mason suddenly ran up to David and threw his arms around him. Dad. David knelt and scooped Mason up in his arms. Hey buddy, your mom tells me someone gave you trouble at school. Mason smirked, his eyes narrowing into slits. Yeah, there was this little brat. When I hit her, she almost pushed me down. But I really gave her a lesson. I even cut her toe. David pinched Mason's chubby cheeks and smiled approvingly. Good job, my boy. You're really something. If anyone dares to fight back in the future, you hit them as hard as you want. Don't worry about it. I will handle everything afterward. Got it? Mason nodded firmly. Got it, Dad. Good boy. After praising Mason, David turned to Luna. Now show me who had the nerve to mess with our son. Hearing this, Luna immediately led David through the crowd and pointed at me and my daughter, shouting, Honey, it's that shameless mother and daughter over there. The first time I met David was at my own company. At the time, I was working as an intern, starting from the bottom to gain experience. Back then, I was ordinary, not particularly outstanding. I was just a nobody in the company. David was also an intern, starting at the same time as me. He wasn't particularly smart and even came across as a bit dull. but growing up in a rural area, he was used to hardship. His work ethic was strong. He was the hardest working intern, tirelessly focused on his tasks. No matter when I looked, he was always focused in front of his computer, completely absorbed in his work. His determination impressed me. He was originally at risk of being let go for not progressing. With my behind-the-scenes help, he was promoted ahead of schedule. That day, he was so happy. He seemed to light up, full of energy and excitement. After becoming a full-time employee, he worked even harder. What I admired most about him was his resilience and refusal to give up. So, we gradually became closer. As we spent more time together, I realized this seemingly quiet and reserved man could actually be quite witty. He often had me laughing out loud. Being around him always felt easy and comfortable. Even when we were silent, his presence gave me a sense of peace. But it wasn't until a heroic rescue that we crossed the line from friends to something more. It happened one night after my mother passed away. I was at a bar, drinking to drown my sorrow. After leaving the bar, a group of drunk men surrounded me, harassing and taunting me. I was terrified and helpless, and that's when David appeared like a knight in shining armor. Even though he ended up getting beaten badly by those drunks, he managed to get me out of danger. That was the first time my heart skipped a beat for this man who risked everything for me. While I stayed with him at the hospital during his recovery, I couldn't help but confess my feelings. He happily accepted. And so, we began our relationship. During our relationship, I kept things simple, acting like an ordinary person. We ate at street vendors, strolled through parks, watched movies, and visited amusement parks. Life was simple but happy. Later on, I brought David home to meet my family. When he found out I was the daughter of the wealthiest family, David became nervous and stiff. My dad knew David was from a rural background, but he didn't look down on him. He simply stated that he didn't care about family status, because no one could be wealthier than us. Anyway, he had only one condition. David would have to marry me. Since I was his only daughter, my father didn't want me to marry into another family. I thought David might hesitate, feel conflicted, or even refuse. After all, he was his family's only son. Plus, marrying into the wife's family could be seen as a bit humiliating for a man. But to my surprise, David agreed without hesitation. He even promised right then and there that he would love me wholeheartedly and only me. To show his loyalty, David even signed a prenuptial agreement that very day. The agreement stated that if he ever cheated or acted unfaithfully, he would leave with nothing. I was beyond touched at that moment. After we got married, David was always kind and gentle with me. He took care of me in every way he could. Even though our daughter took my last name, he didn't mind at all. He treated her like the apple of his eye, showering her with love and care. To give him more credibility outside, I even entrusted him with managing Martin Group. I just wanted him to have more status and prestige. Even though he didn't manage the company well, I never complained about it. All I wanted was for the three of us to live a happy life together. As long as he could love me and our daughter wholeheartedly, nothing else mattered. For so many years, I was immersed in the loving image David had created. I truly believed he was a good husband and a great father. Looking back now, all I feel is a deep sense of irony and how foolish I was. When the truth that had been hidden for years finally came to light. The moment David met my gaze, his face turned pale and he froze in place. The arms holding Mason instantly went limp. Mason, who had been basking in his pride, suddenly slipped from David's arms and fell flat on the ground, hitting hard. "Dad, what are you doing?" Mason lay on the ground, bawling his eyes out. Luna hurriedly picked him up, comforting him softly. "Don't cry, honey. Your dad's just really mad at the person who hurt you. He's eager to stand up for you." Hearing this, the gathered parents all nodded in agreement. "Look at him. Mr. Jones' face is pale with rage. He must be furious." Exactly. A man might have a mistress for fun, but no one would let her disrespect his wife and hurt his beloved son. Yeah, this shameless mistress must be crossed the line with Mr. Jones. That lowlife is done for today. Get your phones out, we're about to see a show. Everyone was buzzing with excitement, waiting to see David's next move. But David stood there as if frozen, unable to move. Seeing David's lack of response, Luna suddenly had a knowing look. "Honey, I know she's the mistress you've been keeping on the side. You don't have to hide it from me. Don't worry. As long as you punish her properly this time and promise not to see her again, I'll forgive you. Go ahead, you can deal with her now." Luna thought she was being so understanding, sure that David would act on her behalf. But David still stood there, staring blankly at me. No one noticed the beads of sweat forming on David's forehead. At that moment, my daughter stepped forward and grabbed David's hand. She looked up at David with her wide, innocent eyes, confused. "Daddy, why are the other kids calling you Daddy, too?" Before David could respond, Mason shoved my daughter away. "You little brat, stop calling him Daddy. Looks like I didn't teach you a good enough lesson today." How dare you take my daddy from me? I'm going to beat you to death today. With that, Mason raised his fist, ready to hit her again. David finally snapped out of it, grabbing Mason and throwing him to the ground. Get away from her. Mason hit the ground hard after David threw him. His elbow scraped the pavement, peeling the skin and drawing blood. Mason's screams of pain filled the air. Luna rushed to pick Mason up, comforting him before turning on David angrily. David, what are you doing? What did Mason even do wrong? Why would you push him over this little brat? Or is it that, in your heart, our son isn't as important as some bastard a mistress? You? What's so great about that homewrecker anyway, that she's got you under her spell? Luna was seething, firing off question after question at David. But David ignored her, crouching down beside my daughter, gently asking, Emily, are you okay? Did you get hurt? My daughter, who normally clung to her dad, flinched away in fear. She curled into my arms like a frightened kitten, watching David with wary eyes. Seeing this, David's face turned pale. At that moment, a black SUV and several police cars pulled up on the side of the road. A lawyer from the legal department stepped out of the SUV, hurrying over to me with an apologetic look. I'm sorry, Ms. Walker, there was traffic, so I'm a bit late. The divorce papers you requested are ready. I also brought the police to handle the incident at the preschool. Seeing how respectful the lawyer was to me, Luna immediately lashed out in anger. You filthy homewrecker, you think you're clever, don't you? Hiring actors to put on a show for everyone. Calling yourself Ms. Walker. Who do you think you are? You're not worthy. Luna spat at me as she finished speaking. The other parents immediately chimed in to back her up. Exactly, just a lowly mistress trying to act like some big-time female CEO. She really thinks she can become somebody just because she's hooked David. Wait till he gets tired of her, she'll end up on the streets. And now she's got the nerve to call the cops. This mistress loves humiliating herself. Ignoring them, I turned to the police, speaking seriously, Officer, these people publicly slandered me, assaulted me, and encouraged their child to abuse my daughter, cutting off one of her toes. They also vandalized my car and destroyed antique paintings worth millions. I do not accept any mediation on this matter. I want it handled seriously. Hearing my words, the once confident parents suddenly panicked. But a few of them, still stubborn, continued to shout, Don't be scared, everyone. We're defending what's right by teaching this mistress a lesson. No one can touch us. Exactly. We're standing up for wives everywhere. Is that wrong? We've got everyone's support. The onlookers immediately cheered them on, supporting their claims. Encouraged by the crowd, the previously panicking parents regained their confidence. The officer glanced at the smashed car and then at my daughter in my arms, frowning deeply. 1929. Chapter 6. In broad daylight, you cause a disturbance, destroy property, and harm others. And justice. After speaking, the officers began to take pictures and collect evidence. You call this? Luna, completely unfazed, crossed her arms and said calmly, Officer, the kids are young. Normally, they can't control their strength when playing. As for the damaged property, all those things were bought by my husband. My husband's things are my things. What's wrong with me breaking my own stuff? The parents present couldn't wait to back her up. Exactly. Everything here belongs to Mr. Jones. Why would Mrs. Jones need to pay anyone for breaking her husband's things? Who does this mistress think she is? What right does she have to ask for compensation from the wife? She's so desperate for money, she doesn't even care about saving face. The police officer turned to Luna and asked, You say these things belong to your husband. Do you have any proof? Luna immediately grabbed David's arm and turned to the officer, saying, My husband's right here. Ask him if you don't believe me. Honey, tell the officer. David jerked his arm away from her like she was a plague, shouting, Get away from me. Luna stood there in shock, staring at David in disbelief. His reaction was completely unexpected to her. The others were equally confused. What's going on? With everyone watching, David slowly walked toward me. When he reached me, he didn't say a word. He just got down on his knees. In a trembling voice, he said, I'm sorry, Scarlett. David knelt in front of me, publicly apologizing and calling me. The scene was so shocking, it left the other parents stunned. Everyone at the event was utterly confused. Luna, in particular, was in complete disbelief, unable to process what was happening. What's going on here? Why is Mr. Jones calling this mistress his wife? What's the relationship between them? The parents quickly recovered and bombarded Luna with these pointed questions. Her face turned pale, clearly shaken by the unexpected turn of events. After a long moment, she snapped out of her daze. In a fit of hysteria, she directed her rage at David, shouting, David, what is this? Why are you calling that homewrecker your wife? Didn't you tell me that marriage was just a formality? You said once you were done with work, you'd plan the grandest wedding for me. We've had a child together. Now, in front of everyone, you're calling someone else. Luna completely lost control, unable to accept the reality unfolding in front of her. Your wife. You told me I was the only one you loved. How could you lie to me like this? Say something. As she grew more emotional, Luna grabbed David's arm, shaking him, demanding an explanation. David forcefully shoved her away, yelling, "Shut up. Don't you realize you're destroying my life?" Stumbling back in shock, she stared at him, horrified by the stranger he had become. She had never imagined the men she loved could act like this. But David had no time to worry about Luna. His only concern now was saving himself. Still kneeling, he turned to me, his voice pleading. "Please, honey, I know I messed up. I'm begging you, just give me one more chance." David had thrown away all pride, his tone dripping with desperation. I stared at him, expressionless, feeling nothing but disappointment. "You know my mom ended her life because of my dad's cheating, right? The one thing I despise most is betrayal. Before we got married, you promised me you'd love me forever, that I was your one and only. And now look at you." I pointed toward Luna, continuing, "You said you loved me, but you went and built a whole new life with her. It makes sense now. How you just happened to show up and rescue me at that bar. Afterward, you insisted I shouldn't press charges against those drunk guys, saying they just made a mistake. And when I took you home, you didn't seem surprised at all when you found out who I was. Thinking about it now, I realize you were probably targeting me from the start, right? You knew everything about my family's wealth, and you manipulated me to climb the ladder of success, using my money to support your little side relationship. David, you really played the long game, didn't you? I had been so caught up in David's seemingly endless love for me that I never saw the truth. All those touching moments that I thought were genuine were actually part of his carefully calculated plan. It was pathetic. I had been so sure I'd found true love. My daughter and I had trusted this man completely, believing he was the most important person in our lives. "Please, honey, I swear I love you. I'll fix this, I promise there won't be a next time," David pleaded. David clutched at my hands, terror evident in his eyes, as if he truly feared losing me. Luna was still trying to make sense of everything, asking David in confusion, "David, why are you kneeling to her? Even if she's your wife, all this money and everything else is yours. You're the CEO of Martin Group." Furious, David's face flushed red as he turned to shout at her, "Because I married her. Everything I have is because of her." Hearing this, Luna and the parents present all looked shocked and terrified. It was only at this moment they realized they'd really crossed the line. I coldly glanced at them, then firmly said to the police officer, "I need to take my daughter to get her injuries treated. I'll make sure to pursue this matter to the end, so please handle it seriously." "Got it." The officer nodded and quickly escorted everyone involved in the incident to the station. Before leaving, he reminded me to bring proof of the damaged items' value, such as purchase receipts, along with the injury reports for my daughter and me, so they could be thoroughly documented. I took my daughter to the hospital to get her wounds treated. After her foot was stitched up, I left her with the nanny. Then, I headed to the police station with the medical reports and necessary documents. At the station, the once arrogant parents now looked worried and defeated. They had only flattered Luna because they feared David, thinking he was the CEO of the Martin Group. They thought Luna was the CEO's wife. That's why they groveled and tried to cling to her. But now, the woman they believed to be the CEO's wife turned out to be the mistress they had always looked down on. And I, the one they bullied and attacked, was actually the one they should be been treating with respect. This realization left them feeling disgusted, as if they'd swallowed a fly. The way they now looked at Luna could be killed. Luna looked utterly defeated, as if the life had been drained from her. She had just suffered the biggest blow of her life. It wasn't just the massive compensation she had to face. The bigger blow was that she had come here today with the intention of confronting a mistress. She had loudly declared her hatred for mistresses, only to find out she was the mistress all along. Her once proud son had now become, in her own words, a shameful illegitimate child. This was a reality she couldn't accept. The police carefully reviewed the documents I provided and calculated the total damages from their destruction. It's 940 million. When they heard the number, everyone's faces turned pale with shock. How is that possible? Even if she's not a mistress, she can't have that much money. Officer, don't let her fool you. Yeah, where could a woman get that much money? You should really look into where it all came from. Who knows, it might be dirty money. Exactly, she must be scammed someone. The parents, unwilling to accept the truth, continued their desperate attempts to defend themselves. They didn't believe my money was legitimate and continued to slander me. The officer scoffed. We've already looked into it. She's the daughter of the wealthiest man. Her fortune is far beyond anything you could imagine. She's just humble, and that humility gave you the excuse to bully her. The officer's words left them speechless. He added, the damage alone is enough to land you all in jail. Instead of questioning her identity, you should focus on how you will repay her. She's made it clear. No settlements. 940 million was a staggering amount for every single person present. They couldn't afford to pay, so they resorted to more excuses. Some of the parents, still self-righteous, said angrily, "You've got so much money. Why are you coming after us?" Exactly. This was just a misunderstanding. Let us clear it up. There's no need to push us to the brink. All we did was break a car and some collectibles. You're the richest woman around. Don't be so petty and hold this over us. Yeah, even if we hit you, you're fine now, right? No need to be so stingy over this. They spoke so self-righteously, as if smashing 940 million worth of property and attacking someone in public could be brushed off with a few words. Or maybe they thought that just because I was rich and hadn't died from the attack, I should just suck it up and take the loss. I let out a cold laugh and said, "Weren't you also bold when you were smashing things and hitting people? Now you want me to let it go? What's wrong? You had the guts to break things but can't pay up. You were so loud while hitting me. Why so scared now?" These parents, thinking they were fighting for some twisted version of justice, acted like they were defending wives everywhere. But in reality, they were just trying to latch onto power and gain something for themselves. If all they had done was break some things, maybe it could be been discussed. But they crossed a line they should never have crossed. They humiliated my daughter. My daughter is my bottom line. I will never forgive them. Seeing that I wouldn't budge, the other parents finally started to panic. They didn't dare argue with me anymore and instead turned their blame towards Luna. "It's all your fault, you liar. You didn't even check the facts before spreading rumors in the group." Exactly. You're the homewrecker and you dragged the rest of us down with you by slandering others. And you had the nerve to call yourself Mrs. Jones. Have you no shame? We got ourselves in trouble just trying to please you. You're the one who should pay for this mess. That's right. It's all on you. Don't even think about asking us to help pay for that 940 million debt. Faced with the other parents' accusations, Luna finally snapped back without hesitation. "You bunch of hypocrites, and you dare to blame me. If it weren't for you all wanting to cozy up to the powerful, encouraging me to make a scene, would I have gone this far? When you thought I was Mrs. Jones, you were all over me, practically licking my shoes. Now that something's gone wrong, you're all turning your backs on me, huh? With your pathetic behavior, you were born to be lapdogs. None of you are getting away today." The parents and Luna continued to argue, and if the police hadn't stepped in, they might have started a fight. After the argument, the parents started making excuses for themselves. They all claimed they didn't break anything, that it was the others who did it. Each one insisted they weren't involved in the assault. Then the police showed them footage from the school's security cameras, and under the clear surveillance, they finally shut up, unable to deny their actions. Each one had to compensate according to their role in the incident. Some begged their husbands for money, scrambling to gather funds any way they could to avoid jail. After paying, they left in defeat. Others, however, received divorce papers from their husbands because of this mess. Unable to borrow money, they were arrested and detained. As for Luna, she was the most active participant in the destruction. Naturally, she had the most debt to pay. With such a huge amount to pay, Luna was helpless. She turned to David. "David, for the sake of our son, please help me. This is too much money. Even if I sold myself, I couldn't pay it off. And if I go to jail, what will happen to Mason?" Luna pleaded, tears streaming down her face, looking utterly pitiful. David hesitated, clearly torn, before looking at me and begging, "Honey, do we need to go this far? For the sake of our years together, let this go, okay?" I looked at David coldly. "Ha! David, do you even have any dignity left? Do you think you still have any face with me? Thinking about our years together and how your fake affection fooled me makes me sick. I've already drawn up the divorce papers. From today on, we're done." I turned to the police and added, "Officer, Luna not only destroyed my property but also encouraged her son to abuse my daughter and cut off her toe. Please add those charges." "Understood." Without another word, I turned and left. And just like that, Luna and the other parents who couldn't pay were sued and sent to prison. My daughter's teacher was also dismissed and investigated because of this incident. The entire kindergarten was shut down for reorganization. As for David, he left the marriage with nothing, per our agreement. I heard that Luna, less than a month into her sentence, got into a fight with those same parents in prison. She was forced into a toilet and drowned. Those parents were given life sentences for it. My daughter and I went from a happy family of 3 to a single mother-daughter household, relying only on each other. Although it took some getting used to, it was peaceful. Then one day, while out on a walk with my daughter, I saw David, unshaven and disheveled, lurking in a back alley. The moment he saw me, his face twisted with rage. He lunged at me with a knife, screaming maniacally, "You worthless woman. I finally found you." I picked up my daughter, frowning. "David, what do you think you're doing?" David glared at me and shouted furiously, "What do you think? You heartless witch. You ruined me. You turned me from a CEO to a beggar fighting stray dogs for food. My son was bullied to death by old beggars while he was out begging. And you have the nerve to ask what I want. I was only with you for money. So what? Whatman isn't after that? Why shouldn't I find true love after getting rich? What right do you have to ruin my life over it? What right did you have to make me lose everything? Looking at his crazed state, I sighed and said sincerely, David, you're still young. If you put down the knife now, there's still time to turn your life around. Time? What time? With that, David raised the knife and charged at me. Because of you, I've lost everything. If I can't live in peace, neither will you. Once I kill you, your daughter and all your assets will be mine. Die. David raised the knife higher and charged even faster. At the last moment, my bodyguard, who had been hiding, appeared and kicked David to the ground. Ever since I learned David was manipulative, I had been extra cautious. I knew someone like him wouldn't give up so easily. That's why I had a bodyguard secretly protecting me and my daughter every day. I never expected it to pay off like this. Take him to the police station. After calmly giving the order, I took my daughter home. Staring at my mother's photo at home, I sighed deeply. Mom, why were you so foolish? I know betrayal is painful, but it's not worth taking your life over. For the sake of those around you, you had to keep going. I glanced at my daughter on the couch, feeling even more resolved. We don't need men. Women can create their own future just fine.